Alright, moving on to the next part of our event. Snow Brothers on the NES by GhostSenpai.
Okay, thanks for the introduction. So, hello everybody, I am GhostSenpai, also known as Someone of Mamas, and now it's time to enjoy some action with Snow Brothers. So I'm just gonna hope that everything has been set up already. So I need to skip this store cutscene. So okay, I'm gonna assume that we are ready to start, so I'm gonna make the countdown from 3, so 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is Snow Brothers, and we got a very good start for a marathon. Because it's supposed here that every time that you start the game, you see a cutscene, but there's a possibility that you can skip so quickly the cutscene. So instead of watching a couple of it for just a second, we got skipped directly into the gameplay, so I consider that as a good start. Okay, I forgot what I was gonna do here, so what I have done wasn't what I was trying to do. Okay, I'm gonna reset the run, anyways. But the time can keep going, never mind. 3, 2, 1, go. Because I got an awful start there, just thanks to that mistake. It's not supposed that that phase bonus should have appeared, because it's gonna quit you as a good amount of time. So please, I'm gonna try to focus here because I think that I forgot what I need to do. So after I complete the next stage, I'm gonna keep talking about this. So let me do first setup. This had never happened before. Okay, let's see if I got it. Okay, this is an awful start now. Also like in the previous attempt. So what happened here is that I was trying to manipulate the game because there's a trick that I like to call position manipulation. That in this game, depending of the position of your character, it's where the enemies are gonna move. And when you defeat the enemies, there's a possibility that you can get some items like the potions that I got here. I got the red potion, that was the potion I was looking for on the second stage. And also I got the yellow potion, which increases my shooting range. The red is important because it speeds up our character, and also I am lacking of the blue potion. If everything was fine, I'm gonna be able to get it on next stages, which increases my shooting power up. The yellow potion just increases the shooting range. So now talking a bit about the game, this is a port of a 1990s arcade game. And that was released at the same name, but it was called Snow Bros. Nick and Tom. So the plot of this game, like on many games of the era, some twin princesses from a long, far-away kingdom were kidnapped by an evil guy, and then the brothers Nick and Tom tried to rescue her. And what does the evil guy have made was just to turn both Nick and Tom into snowmen. So in order to break the curse, we need to save the princess and obviously defeat this evil enemy. So here the important thing is to get the potions. There are two ways to defeat the enemies. As we can see, we just freeze them and we turn them into a snowball. So thanks to that, we can throw the snowball, and if a rolling snowball touches an enemy, the enemy is gonna fly in all the stage. And once he lands, after some seconds, a potion is gonna appear, an item is gonna appear. It can be potion, it can be any other bonus item, or it can be some food that just gives you us points. So the important thing here is to get the potions. Unfortunately, I'm lacking of the blue potion, and up to this point I should have reset again. I just have reset here on the second stage for the first time. It's not supposed that I don't used to do that on marathons, but I needed to do that because unfortunately I have activated the face item that appears at certain stages. I'm gonna explain that in a bit. So this is the first boss fight, and it's gonna be a bit slow since I'm lacking enough of the blue potion. The important potions in this game are the blue and the red one. The red because it makes that we can move faster, and the blue one increases our shooting power. So this is just an easy enemy to defeat when you have all the potions. well, when you have the blue potion, it just requires 6 hits. In this case, it required 7. And the reason of this is because depending of your distance, between your distance and the enemy, when you throw the snowball, it's the power that it's gonna achieve the ball. So with this, the most far you are, the most powerful is gonna be the hit with the snowball. And this is an exclusive thing of the NES port, and it's the gambling machine. Here we're gonna aim to get as more crosses as we can, or most X letters, well, most X or most crosses, whatever you wanna consider that, because it does give to us any points. We can get also a letter from the snow world or an extra life, and each of them quits to us sometime, because each letter gives to us 10,000 points. And the extra life gives to us obviously the extra life and 50,000 points, so you will like to don't get any extra life. I got here 2 letters, so that was something decent. With the first boss, I just required 6, but it required between 6 to 7 hits. In this case it required 7, because since I don't have the blue potion, what's gonna make this is that it's gonna take to me to make more shootings in order to freeze the enemies. With the blue potion, just 2 shoots are required. When you don't have it, it takes to between 3 to 4, depending of your distance. So on this part, it's gonna be slightly slow, because on this stage it's more complicated to manipulate the position of the enemies in order to get this potion. Normally you will get it easily on next stages, so if everything was fine after the second boss, I'm gonna be able to get them. Or maybe if the game wants, I'm gonna get it on this stages. There's a little possibility that I can get this potion on this stage, or in the stage on the floor 18 or floor 19. Gonna try to focus here, okay. So there are different enemies that has different kind of attacks. This red enemy doesn't do anything, the blue ones turn into a tornado. So if I see that kind of enemies, I'm gonna try to defeat them as fast as I can, because if they turn into a tornado, I cannot attack them until the tornado finishes. And I have been getting some potions, but unfortunately it has been a lot of red potions, and again I got a red potion. This is something really unfortunate, because I already have red potion and it has been appearing tons of them. So this is my last chance to get the blue potion at this stages, otherwise I'm gonna bless for a miracle after the second boss fight. So again, the second boss fight is gonna take a little amount of extra time to complete. And we have another difference here between the arcade release. I'm gonna explain the other differences on a bit. Here it's the position of the frog is kinda RNG based. So here this frog is gonna shoot some enemies, and I need to hit this frog seven times, but unfortunately I turned the rest of the enemies, of the bombs, into items. Since I don't have the blue potion, this is gonna take to me more time to complete. Okay, I missed a hit, unfortunately. I wasn't fast enough. So this is gonna be a slow boss fight, and since I don't have the blue potion, I hope that I can finish this under the estimate. And again, 3 hits. This is... Sorry people for this. I wasn't expecting to get this. This is really the first time when I have run this game and I get a luck like this with the potions. So when the frog appears downstairs, well, when it appears to the floor, it's more kinda easier to defeat it. But if you are lacking from the blue potion, it's gonna be complicated to defeat it as fast as you can when it's on the top of the stage. So now I just got a letter here and 2 crosses, so I'm just gonna have 10,000 points, and then I'm gonna be moving to the next stage. So thanks to due to the limitations of the NES, there are some clear differences between the NES version and the arcade release. For example, the arcade version has more enemies, the speed is more faster, and in some way it's kinda easier, the NES release, comparing with the arcade version. Also, we have some kind of virtual credits on this game. There are a total of 9. Okay. I am failing into getting the other potion. So I hope that I can finish under my estimate, because this has never happened before. I'm gonna try to focus on the run, and I'm gonna try to beat this as fast as I can. So getting back to the differences, this version has less enemies, because with more of them, it was gonna be kinda complicated to the NES to process everything. There's gonna be some times where I can manipulate some enemies, and at the last boss fight we're gonna see what happens when there's a lot of elements on the screen. So this is another limitation of the system. Also, when there's a lot of enemies on the screen and I start to freeze them, sometimes another enemies are gonna start to blink because the game cannot process what is happening in total. Okay, I was lucky here, and again I got another red potion. Okay, this is not so bad at all, but at the same time, it's not the greatest run I am able to do. But well, I have got worse situations. So okay, finally I got the blue. This is something really good. So I hope that I can compensate all the time that I have lost. So now, up to this point, I'm more relaxed. So I need to focus into the game. I'm talking about not to lose lives. Because on this game, obviously, if you die, you lose all the potions you have got. And talking about the virtual credits, this game has 9 virtual credits, so when I run out of lives, I can use one of that continues, and if I play on the 2-player mode, both players share the same 9 credits. So hopefully I'm not gonna need to use the continues, and if that happens, it's gonna be something really great, because we're gonna be able to watch the alternative ending, which is in some way the real ending of the game. I'm not gonna spoil that, we're gonna see that at the end of the game. Okay, this enemy is gonna spawn down. And now it's time to go to the third boss fight. This is kinda similar. This is mostly the only boss fight that it's similar to arcade release. There are gonna be 2 big birds, 3 hits to each of them, and everything's gonna be done. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, let's go. This was a very good pace for the first bird, so let's see if I can repeat the same pattern with the other one. This is 1, 2, oh, okay, I failed. Nice, 3 hits. Usually you can get easily the first pattern with the first bird, and the second one is gonna take another cycle. It's not a big deal also, it's kinda tolerable, and now I got here 3 hits. And since I got the snow world, I gained another extra life, but I don't get the 50,000 points that the direct extra life that you get in the gambling machine gives to you. So starting into the first, well, into stage 31st, we're gonna start here with the real and complicated challenges. Usually, if you got a very good start until the third boss, the problems are gonna start here, because these white enemies that look like monkeys throw some fireballs that turns into firewalls. So it's more tricky to reach some of the enemies, and since we see these big holes, we cannot get outside of them with normal jumps. We need to use a snowball in order to jump over it. A good example of that is gonna happen at the floor 39. It's weird how this game refers to the stages, because it says every time you complete the bonus zone from the gamble machine, it says stage, but in this case on the regular pattern it just says floor. So stage or floor, and I hope that it can be understandable, because we know this is the Japanese English, which was the awful English that was so common between 80s and 90s in video games. Nowadays the translations are slightly better. One out. No! Okay, awful timing. I have died here, but up to this point I can deal with this. It's not gonna be so much a big deal that I have died here and I have to lose my items. It's gonna be slow. but I have a backup route usually for this stage because, as I've said before, and if I don't get the red potion at stage 2, and if I don't get the blue potion at the 3rd stage, usually I reset the run. Otherwise, it's gonna be slow in a regular run. But usually on these stages, I've said before, it's kinda complicated sometimes to keep alive because you need to do some tricky movement, and sometimes you need to deal with that kind of physics or situations like the one that we have seen on the previous stage when I have died. So here as a backup is gonna be just something small. But I got the red potion and the blue one, so I think that this was a very good backup. Usually when you lose your items on your first runs or for marathon purposes on the stage floor 37, you can be so really lucky to get at least the red potion. Sometimes you can also get the blue one. It's more common to get the blue one, but if you get both, you are really lucky, like I was. And also, we can see that there is a little ghost with a kind of pumpkin head that appears after some time. This is a signal that I have completed on a slow pace stage. Okay, let me see where this guy moves. Okay, so what I have done there is that you can jump over the snowballs and at the same time you can throw them. This can be useful in these kind of situations because, as I've said before on this stage, you can get stuck easily because here, as we can see, I cannot go out with the regular jumps, so you need to use a snowball to get out. So stage 39 is the most trickiest from all the game. And again, we have another boss fight. This is again different against the arcade release because on the arcade release you cannot turn into a snowball these far enemies. If you shoot to them, they disappear. But some enemies fall down from the top of the screen. This doesn't happen due to limitations, but again, 6 hits and we are done. Sometimes you need to do some individual shootings in order to defeat the bosses. And also, this can be a good backup, mostly used on the last boss, because every time you do an individual hit, an individual shooting, you also damage the boss. And here I got an extra life, and also I got a letter, so here we can see what I was trying to say with getting an extra life, talking about the time that you loses. But at the same time, this keeps being good because I have died one time and I have got also 2 extra lives, which means that we have now higher chances to watch the alternative ending. Because if I keep gaining lives and I'm using continue, we're gonna see the alternative ending, which is the real ending of the game. And also, it's gonna be so really good if you watch it. Well, if we talk about marathons. Now, on these last stages, this can be the most trickiest from all the game, the most complicated to manipulate at the same time. There are some holes in the floor, but as we can see, every time that I go down, I appear at the top of the screen, so I shouldn't be worried if I fall down on any of them. Because also some spots are more easier to reach doing this, talking about the tops of the screen, instead of just doing the regular jumps, because sometimes you cannot reach them with regular jumps. So instead of that, you need to go down to the floor. So we have another variation of these red enemies and these bats with mustaches. What does these red enemies does is that when you are on the same line than them, they fly against you, like with this guy for example. But using a snowball that I throw at the same time, I can damage him and I can enter into invisibility phase. So during all the run I have abused about this, and when I throw in snowball I try to keep on the same line where the snowball is, making that the snowball hits me, and with it I can also be on a little invincibility window. That is like a 1.5 to 2 seconds invincibility window, I'm not so much sure. But this is something really helpful most of the time. Okay, let's bless in order to don't see the face. Okay, we haven't seen the face because also on this stage is so regular you get the face if you do what I have done, but that's the most fastest way to beat this. There's a 25% of chance of getting the face there, so it was kinda kinda dangerous, kinda scary at some point. So now here I'm just gonna try to focus on the run. This is just the floor 49, the last regular stage, and after this we're gonna enjoy the boss fight of the game. Okay. So with the second boss, in the arcade release it appears on the top of the roof, and you can see how slowly the boss moves to the top. That's another difference. And here, comparing this with arcade release, maybe this is more this is the only faster and easiest stage comparing this with arcade release, because on the arcade release these bosses are more slower, and also at the same time and the roof starts to fall down slowly. So what am I gonna do here? Okay, I got distracted. Okay, what I'm gonna do here is that these guys are gonna be throwing snowballs. It's gonna be throwing some bubbles. Okay, some of them can get a potion, and others can get an enemy, can get a firewall, or just nothing. So the ones that I'm gonna be looking for here are the ones with enemies, ability to defeat the enemies. And if I get stuck in a bubble like this, I just need to mash all the buttons as fast as I can, and I'm gonna be free. Mostly if I press the shooting button. So I'm gonna be moving and also doing some individual shootings to these guys. And also some of my movements I'm gonna be timing them. Talking about the time when I'm gonna start to try to get free from the bubbles. Each of these guys just takes 10 hits. So I'm not gonna say anything here, and the time's gonna finish when the last of these guys get defeated. So if the announcer has something to say, this is a good moment. Otherwise I'm gonna keep quiet for focusing purposes. So let's play it for now in order to get the alternative ending. Okay, miss an enemy. Okay, I got trapped, but let's see if I can get the glitch. Okay, I got the glitch. So what happened here is that for some reason there's a glitch in the game that usually happens most on this last stage. That is that if you keep mashing all your buttons when you are respawning, you can keep your items. Mostly this happens when you have just the red and blue potion. So the time's gonna finish when I defeat this bad guy. Let's see. Time! Usually I try to keep one hit per guy, per enemy. So with this I can have a kind of timing between this, but I got distracted in the middle of my shooting, so I lost the count that I got. So, okay, 2220 with that reset. Without the reset was 2141. So officially, I can say that I'm surprised about this slow start that I got, about this lawful RNG that I got starting the game with the items. Because besides of that, to this day, this has been my best run of this game in the marathon. So I can really say that I'm really proud about what happened here. So this is the alternative ending that I was saying, that is a real ending of the game, and also this is good that I was able to showcase this. As we can see here, the real ending is that the evil guy has been defeated, Nick and Tom rescued the princesses, and they got free from the curse. On the regular ending, they just save the princesses and the peace gets back into the kingdom. But this is not the end on the real ending of the game, which is this alternative one that we were watching. I'm not gonna spoil it. Let's see what happens on a bit, because here the game is telling the same, that The princesses were rescued, the evil god was defeated, Nick and Tom lost the curse, and if it's not everything, also Nick and Tom gets married with both twin princesses. So this is the real good ending. We got a good ending, a happy ending for this game. So again, now I need to say thanks for the staff of Distant Starcare. Sorry, mistake in my pronunciation, for giving me the opportunity to showcase this game, because this is one of my most rejected games in many marathons. So I'm really glad when in a marathon I get an opportunity to showcase this game, because it's really good. It was so popular at its time. Up to this day, this game keeps being remembered and played by a lot of people in Latin America and Europe, but unfortunately in some way many people have started to forget this game. So I'm really happy that for two things. The first of all, that I was able to showcase this game, and the second is that this has been my best run of this game in a marathon, besides the fact that I have gotten slow start. So um, at the same time, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody who has been here in the marathon, who has been donating, sorry, and also for the people who's enjoying this. But the fun doesn't stop right now, because we have more rounds beginning. Well, more rounds coming on this marathon. We're gonna see Nova Fortune running Mortal Kombat X on a bit, and I'm gonna be back after a couple of runs with Splatoon 2 Hero Mode Any Percent, which has a donation incentive. So if you're planning to donate, I'm gonna invite the people to donate towards any of the donation incentives that this game marathon has. So well, I think that this is everything by my part. I'm GhostSenpai, and see you on a bit, guys. Thanks for watching.